All my years of watching the NFL, I never thought I'd see this topic bring up every single time I go to Google or search for any gossip on the internet. But apparently, Brian is suing the NFL for race discrimination. And you know what? This is not the first time this happened. The NFL has a history of racial discrimination against African Americans or any human race in general. Because if you're not white, then they're going to have some problems dealing with you or just find ways to go on a racist tirade to make you feel miserable. So I think when it comes to Brian Flores, the head coach of Miami, he's pretty much just going out of his way to sue the whole franchise as a whole for racial discrimination, because it's one of these cases where you just don't even trust sports entertainment anymore. Now, the NFL is a real sport, but in terms of politics and sports, it's what really kills it for everybody. Back then, they didn't really have any politics in sports, but now all of a sudden it's been shoved in sports everywhere you go. And it's really not fair to everybody who just want to see football. But for me, I don't even care about politics. But if I'm doing articles and stuff like this, I have no choice but to, have an open discussion about topics like this. Because race discrimination is real. Ain't nothing fake about it. Former Miami Dolphins head coach Brian Flores filed a class action lawsuit against the team NFL and New York Giants for alleged racial discrimination on Tuesday. In making the decision to file the class action complaint today, I understand that I may be asking coaches the game that I love and that has done so much for my family and me, Flores said in a statement. My sincere hope is that by standing up against systematic racism in the NFL, others will join me to ensure that positive change is made for generations to come. Now, that statement alone is someone who is hoping for a change. But apparently, when it comes to the NFL, I feel like that's not going to happen. Because anytime when a coach or a former NFL player is accused in the National Football League of race discrimination, they will always hide the facts, not take accountability for the actions, let alone own responsibilities for the actions. Responsibilities for the actions. Look, I don't look at the NFL like that. I'm not a sports fanatic like everybody else, but I think when it comes to the NFL itself, there's so many things wrong with the system when it comes to some serious allegations. So people try to hide the evidence and facts to know that when somebody calls them out on it, they'll deny everything. But if they do have evidence, that means that you're not only in trouble, but you're going to have to pay the person that sues you for the right reasons. And I think when it comes to Brian, he's suing the NFL for the right reasons for racial discrimination. And not only that, he also has the receipt, aka the evidence of those texts that has proven that there's also racism going on in the NFL. Let's continue. Flores claims that he was interviewed for Giants head coaching position. The team had already decided to hire now former Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator Brian Daboll. The revelation about Daboll came 3 days before Flores was scheduled to interview with the team. Flores said that the Giants interview process was a sham and he was humiliated. Dang, this is the one thing that really bothers me about any sports companies. When you go into these job interviews and you are perfect and you are a perfect fit for that position of the job they have for you, they'll probably give you a call for like a few days later, but then all of a sudden they turn around and hire the next person that is worthy of their position. and you're just sitting there thinking to yourself, did I completely waste time on the interview if that person is not willing to help me? Because there's so many people in this world that are unemployed right now. And right now they could use a job that can help pay the mortgage, bills, rents, and all that. In whichever case may be, this whole system is messed up big time because of what they did to Brian. And you hire somebody who probably has the best experience when it comes to coaching, but Brian has been coaching NFL for years. So the fact that you have the audacity to hire somebody else instead of Brian, which is super disrespectful in any shape or format. So to me, I feel like this is really uncalled for, and they're wrong for that. And I think the New York Giants organization really messed them up big time because they're so wrong for this. In the text message exchange, New England Patriots head coach, Bill congratulated Flores for landing the job, thinking he was the ball. Oh no. Jesus Christ, bro. Like, the head coach probably thought it was Brian, but Jesus, like, this is mad disrespectful, bro. Sue the franchise. You're gonna pay me because not only that you've discriminated me, you disrespect me, and you just didn't even look at me as a person who wants a career. So that right there is just kind of pathetic. Sorry if this Belichick alleged wrote. I double checked and I misread the text. I think they are naming the ball. I'm sorry about that, BB. Well, at least he took accountability for that. So shout out to Belichick. And we're about to take a look at this receipt, aka the evidence. So let's have a read on them. So this is what that guy. I mean, you are their guy. I hope it works out for you. That's definitely what I want to. Okay, so I'm not good at reading people's texts, but you get the idea of him supporting, Brian in this situation. So in the right side of the text, he kind of botched the text message a little bit, and he misread what he said, and he apologized for it. That could be the reason why he was suing the Giants organization because of that. But to me, this is just so bad. Like, dog, I cannot imagine being in his shoes right now, because if it were to happen to me, I would have been suing the crap out of the NFL. Because the NFL nowadays is just so woke and it's become a joke. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard for me to watch nowadays because I only look at highlights on YouTube, but I don't really usually watch the full game on TV. So I'm usually just focused on YouTube, and that's saying something. We are pleased and confident with the process that resulted in the hiring of Brian Daboll. And the statement read, "We interviewed in an impressive and diverse group of candidates. The fact of the matter is, Brian Flores was in a conversation to be our head coach until the 11th hour. Ultimately, we hired the individual we felt was more qualified to be our next head coach." Pathetic. That is utter BS and pathetic. Like, you had a good chance of hiring Brian, then all of a sudden you hire a new coach. Yeah, that is kind of racist too. Yeah, man. And if you look at, the game against Washington football team a few weeks ago, you can tell that organization is just messed up. They had the worst record than ours, but at least we beat them on that game, and it showed. Offensively, defensively, and It's kind of obvious. The statement regarding the class action lawsuit. Here we go, y'all. The NFL and our clubs are deeply committed to ensuring equitable employment practices and continue to make progress in providing equitable opportunities throughout our organizations. Diversity is core to everything we do. And there are a few issues on which our clubs and our internal leadership team. Okay, I'm having a hard time reading this whole thing, but they said this before. They said all of this before, and they did nothing about it. And this is what racism looks like. Whenever we complain and talk about something, they don't want to hear us. They don't want to really say or agree how we feel about the situation. And yet, they want us to be quiet, like we don't have a voice. This sounds like, to me, a cop-out of the NFL helping, Mr. Flores. I mean, come on. Like, the NFL need to step up, because I'm tired of seeing, racist situations occur in and outside the NFL. But I think when it comes to Bryant, I hope he wins this lawsuit. And I hope that, he deserves better. Like, somebody is going to end up getting him. It may not be Washington Commanders or somebody or some other NFL teams that want him, that does not racial discriminate a black coach or African American person in general. Flores also alleged that prior to getting the Dolphins head coach gig, he previously interviewed with Denver Broncos and claimed that then general manager John Elway showed up to the interview an hour late and appeared to be a hungover. Oh no, so he was drunk. Wow, this is crazy. Flores claimed that he was interviewed for that job because of running rules, which in the NFL policy that requires teams to interview minority candidates for head coaching positions. Flores believed he was never a real candidate for the job. The Broncos put out a statement regarding the accusation against them. The allegations of Brian Flores directed towards the Denver Broncos in today's court filing are blatantly false. The team said our interview with Mr. Flores regarding our head coach position began promptly at the scheduled time of 7:30 a.m. on January 5th, 2019 in Providence Alright Hotel. There were 5 Broncos executives present for the interview, which lasted 3.5 hours, the fully alluded time, and concluded shortly before 11 a.m. Yeah, this is definitely a cop-out, because each time when somebody sues them, they'll always come up with a bunch of excuses instead of taking accountability. Because based on the evidence we're getting, this happened like 3 years ago. So this is just sad beyond belief. Clearly, they don't think he has what it takes to be a coach of any team because of his skin color. And that right there is racial discrimination. I don't want to hear in the comments saying that's not racial discrimination. That's just somebody who doesn't have what it takes. Yes, it does have a lot to do with racial discrimination, because if you're black, you only get less of an opportunity, especially if you're a coach. If you're white, you'll get every single opportunity handed to you. I'm sorry, but I'm just calling it like I said, and I said what I said. Pages of detailed notes, analyses, and elevations from our interview demonstrates the depth of our conversation and sincere interest in Mr. Flores as a head coach candidate. Our process was throwing fair to determine the most qualified candidate for our head coaching position. The Broncos will vigorously defend the integrity and values of our organization and accept employees from such. Forget, I can't read the rest though, but y'all get what this trying to say. They always say the same thing, but if you're black, you're never gonna get the job that you dreamed of. But if you're white, you'll get everything handed to you because they claim that he's more experienced. May I remind you that there are black coaches in the NFL that are more experienced than new coaches. They know about the books for years. They study the plays, they look at highlights, and they understand the position of what they want to do. To spend 3 seasons as head coach of the Miami Dolphins and led the team back-to-back winning years, was fired at the conclusion of the 2021 NFL regular season. According to the claim, Flores refused his owner's order to tank for the first pick draft during the 2019 season. Dolphins owner Stephen Ross allegedly told Flores that he will pay him $100,000 for every loss. And the team's general manager Chris Greer told Flores that Steve was mad that Flores was winning games. This sounds stupid as almighty. You want to pay him $100K to lose games, and as soon as he started winning games, you get mad at him. I'm sorry, but this sounds like pettiness of out of Stephen. Just pathetic. Why would you want to pay him for games that he loses? Like, whatever happened to if you win a game is, you make money when you win games. You don't make money when you lose. I mean, this kind of confused me. Like, somebody please tell me something in the comments below. I mean, seriously, this really rubbed me the wrong way. You want to pay somebody to lose games? Like, are you serious? This kind of reminded me of the scene from The Longest Yard movie, the 2005 version, when Adam Sandler's team was winning the game, was doing fine, and then the coach from another team was convincing Adam's character to play terrible and to lose, in the second half. This kind of what reminded me of that situation. I mean, I have never read an article that is so stupid and biased that really makes me angry as a black man. And I hope and pray that he wins this lawsuit, because both Buffalo Bills and New York Giants are crap. And so is Miami Dolphins. Seriously, they're crap. According to the claim following the conclusion of the 2019 season, Ross pressured Flores to recruit a prominent quarterback in violation of the league's tampering rule. I'm guessing he means steroids. I don't know. Flores, however, refused to comply with these improper orders. In the winter of 2020, Ross invited Flores onto a yacht for lunch and told him that the prominent quarterback was confidently arriving at the marina. Shortly after he arrived, Flores left the meeting and yacht immediately. Following the incident, Flores was treated with disdain, or whichever word that is, and held out as someone who was. They always say they were difficult to work with, but if you do something wrong, if you treat them like crap, especially if they're black, then they have every right to feel that way. They don't want to be around a bunch of racist people, especially those who hire you to do a position as a head coach for a team for years to years. I mean, this is just sad. The Dolphins also released a statement to the matter. We are aware of the lawsuit through the media reports that came out this afternoon. The Dolphins said, we vehemently deny any allegations of racial discrimination and are proud of the diversity and inclusion throughout our. Okay, you know what? Haven't we had enough of this garbage? They said the exact same thing, and yet somehow they want us to believe they're mess. Because deep down, any coach and team, they said the same thing, and yet nothing has been done about it. They don't even take accountability for their actions, and they want us to take the blame. They want us to be quiet. They want us to feel sorry. What about all the crap that you treated us for years? I would have imagined being in Flores' shoes right now if I were the head coach. I would have been angry. I would have just cussed him out, let him know how I really feel, because you're not going to disrespect me like that based on my skin color. You're not going to treat me different because of my race. I deserve the same position as everybody else. The same money, the same payments, the same position. I clearly know my stuff as a coach. You're not gonna, disrespect me like that and hire somebody else who is white instead of somebody who wants the job, who shows up on time, who shows up in an interview with the Giants, and come on. All of this mess is just sad, really. Douglas H. Wigder and I can't pronounce his last name, but both of them are representing Flores in a lawsuit statement. I hope he wins his lawsuit, because what they did was truly pathetic. On the first day of Black History Month, it is you know what? I'm done. I am done with reading this garbage, because they try to, represent Black History Month when you fire a head coach of color and you refuse to interview him. Well, here's the thing. And then all of a sudden, you get this coach from Buffalo Bills or somebody from a different area gets the job. And you sitting there just waiting for an opportunity to just show them your skill as a coach for New York Giants or Buffalo Bills. And they want to use every single excuse in the book, try to justify, their actions. And at the end of the day, the NFL is so wrong. Like I said, I hope Mr. Flores actually wins this lawsuit. Like I said, I know there's going to be people having mixed feelings on the situation, but you already heard my rants and my opinions on this. I would like to hear it from you as well. What do you all think of this situation? Should he go to a team that truly wants him, or should he just give up being a coach because of race discrimination? What do y'all think?